Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, Mandy, can you hear me? Just so you know, the scene is not visible from here, but I can give you this podium if that works. Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. As you know, we've seen an increase in violent crime, particularly crimes involving firearms over the last year. And one way to combat that is to get those firearms off the street. And one way we do that is through purchasing these firearms from individuals who are selling them, to prevent them from getting into the hands of someone who could do more harm. So today we were here conducting a transaction to purchase firearms. Our detective was meeting with two individuals who was supposed to sell him a number of guns. During the course of the transaction, both subjects pointed their firearms at the detective and attempted to rob him. We had detectives who were monitoring the transaction, moved in, lights and sirens, in an effort to make sure there was no harm to our detective. When they came in, both subjects fled on foot and began firing at our deputies who were trying to apprehend them. Fortunately, and most importantly, none of our detectives or citizens were hurt. One subject was pursued and apprehended. The other subject fled, and we are still attempting to locate him. Again, this just shows the danger and the work that our detectives do every day, trying to keep our community safe and keep these guns off the streets and from getting into someone else's hands. The subject that was arrested right now is a Jordan Gracia. He's a 19-year-old individual. He has previously 26 felony charges already at the age of 19, 14 misdemeanor. And some of those charges include armed burglary, juvenile in possession of a firearm, carrying a concealed firearm. And today he'll have more charges to include armed robbery and attempt murder of a Leo law enforcement officer ×4. Again, most importantly, no one was hurt here today, our deputies particular. But again, we've got to get these guns off the street and prevent them from getting into the hands of individuals like these subjects today. And I'll take any questions. We did not. They were pursuing the individuals and just tackled the one subject to the ground, and then the other one fled and got away. But we did not fire our weapons today. It's Gracia, and our public information officers will get you that additional information. We have him identified. We're trying to give our detectives an opportunity to locate him. The mall has closed at their own request, and we are searching that just to make sure he is not in there. If we do not find him shortly, we will release his information for asking the public if they've seen him or know where he is. But we do know who the individual is. At this time, we believe 5, but we are still collecting evidence and processing the scene out here.
Can you give some more information as to where exactly the shooting happened? Was it inside the mall or outside the mall?
No, it was in a parking lot of the mall that there's, it's primarily an employee entrance tucked in, and there's not a lot of foot traffic. We were trying to take that into consideration. The deal started in our detective's car. They robbed him while one of them was sitting in the car and the other was outside. And then once our backup units moved in, they fled through the parking lot and were apprehended in the parking lot.
So were there any citizens who were around and saw this?
We are not aware of any. We know certainly none were hit, and our detectives didn't come into contact, and no one has reached out to us at this point. Sure, and it's a double-edged sword. We have to ensure the safety of our deputies and detectives. We've got to make sure that there's units close enough so if something like this happens tonight, we can be there and move in and protect our officers. We would love to do it out in an open field in the middle of somewhere, but I fear if we did that, our deputy would be dead. And more importantly, we need to wonder, why are these individuals with 26 felony convictions out here selling guns in a parking lot in broad daylight? That's the issue we need to address. Why isn't this subject in jail, and why are they having access to these guns? We know we have him identified, but we just don't want to release that yet. I don't know if he's that young. As they were holding him at gunpoint, he was giving them the money. The other deputies came in with their lights and sirens. They heard that. Immediately upon that, they fled. fired several shots at those deputies as they were pursuing them. So again, we're extremely lucky for our detectives today.
What about the guns? Where's the guns that they were selling?
I can't.
Do you have the guns in possession they were selling?
We have some of the guns. We just want to make sure we have everything. So again, it's a big area, so we're thoroughly searching it to make sure there's not anywhere for the public to pick up.
Last question. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you, everybody.